Hello and welcome back to What's Bubbling is ZIM. I'm Dr. Abstract, and in this bubbling we're going to continue to look at what's new in ZIM 018. So let's go to the ZIM site now at zimjs.com. And we can find out what's new by pressing this banner or at any time the link up above here. We're going to take a look at hand tracking, and where that comes from is we have an ML5 library, machine learning library. We were working with that, and when we did, we built some pinch technology. We figured out when our fingers were pinching, and we liked that, and it was so cool that we thought we would integrate it right into ZIM. So this will take place of the mouse or the pointer, and instead use our hand, and we use pinching to mouse down and mouse up. So let's try it out now. Yes, we will accept the camera. And so what happens is I get a little finger. You see my finger there? And if I roll over there, it highlights. And when I pinch, it goes white like that. Now there is some jostling about, and it helps to, like, it works both up close and back, and it works quite well. But at times, things happen. Oh, there, something just happened. We can pinch the pinky and the thumb together to turn off and on the hand tracking. And that time it just glitched out and just sort of turned it off on its own. Anyway, the idea is, watch this, I can pinch that and pull it up, right? So isn't that neat? I'm now controlling, and there, it just turned itself off. I don't know why it did. And I'm controlling that. Isn't that wild? Another thing that we get is the angle. So there's an angle of 0, basically, when they're horizontal. There we go, just about 0, right? Can you see that? Read the angle there? And then as I turn it, that's 90 degrees, and this is 270 degrees, and that's 180 degrees. So you can get the angle and work that in. You can also find out the distance. So there's a big distance and there's a small distance. Okay, so you can use the distance to make things brighter or dimmer. You can use the rotation, but we've built in a way to be able to do mouse down when we're pinching and mouse up when we're not. And once again, turning it off. There, I've just turned it off. Now I can't pinch. Oh, I thought I turned it off. There, turned it off. Now I can't pinch and move. I would have to use my cursor to do that. Otherwise, if it detects, and so I don't have to use that much anymore, because if it's not there, then I can use my cursor. So we've made it so that it automatically will let the cursor be used if the hand isn't recognized. You can also switch by pinching. So up above here, you can tap like that. So I just tapped and I told left hand. Now my right hand's not working, but my left hand is. Okay, so that's the idea for integrated cursors. Let's go take a look at some of the code for that then. So I'll drop this down. And we're bringing in ML5 right there as a script. We're importing the ZIM cam. We're using the cam ask, which is a good idea to do on Apple. You need to accept the cam before starting. I think most places you do. But in Apple, you've got to interact with the canvas first. Then you can ask to use the cam. It's like, oh, come on, seriously? So on Android and on the desktop and computer, you can just ask for the cam. You don't have to interact with the app first. It's like, argh. So anyway, we had to pop up this a little message saying, do you want to start, do you want to use the cam? And as soon as I say yes, then I can ask if I want to use the cam. So then the system asks, do you want to use the cam? And it's like, okay. Anyway, so be it. Just do it that way. Just be careful. If you give these proportions, that might not, as a matter of fact, this example might not look very good on mobile. It might look stretched. On mobile, or I suppose probably you could just ask for the width and the height there. It would be what you're wanting to do, I would imagine. So W and H there, and then if you're on mobile, it'd use that, and if you're on a desktop, it would use that width and height. However, on desktop, unless you're in the full mode, it may be different. So anyway, we've just specified that cam. And you can then scale the cam to the stage. So I don't know what our stage is at in this 1024 by 768. And so it's different. Anyway, you can scale it to the stage, center it, and we've dropped down its alpha. This is the ZIM cam, and it's been around for a while. And we've built into the ZIM cam this guy right here, prepare track. And aside from, oh, I've actually got a prepare track going on. I didn't mean to keep that in here. I'll switch that. We don't need a prepare track. As soon as you do the hand track, it will activate. And then we've got an example of a prepare track. So you would only really use a prepare track if you wanted to change anything in here, any of these parameters. Okay. But I would suggest you probably just start with the default parameters and you're going to be fine. And we don't need that. We'll get rid of that completely and upload that. There we go. It's uploaded and adjusted. So here's the hand pose. So ML5 has a bunch of different poses, and we'll do a bubbling video on those. Most of them look like this. We're going to get a hand pose as opposed to a body pose or whatever the other ones are. And then once it's ready, we call a detect start. So that is ML5. So this stuff right here is ML5, end of ML5. Not bad, huh? It's nice. Quite easy. And we're detecting the cam's get canvas. So our cam reads in the webcam and makes a canvas out of it so that we can see it. But the get canvas, it actually makes a bitmap. Sorry, it makes a ZIM bitmap. But if you want to use ML5, you don't want to use that with a ZIM bitmap. You need a canvas. So we gained access to the cache canvas, so that it was already there, but the get canvas will give us a reference to that. And then that's what we pass into the hand pose stuff, at which point we start getting results. So here's our function result. That's our callback right there. And this is the ML5 information. We don't have to worry too much about it here because we're using, it's already been built into ZIM now. It's built into the ZIM cam, where we are going to hand track those results. There we go. That's it. That would give you the pinch and the cursor and stuff like that. We're going to show you more ML5 stuff where we actually manually process those results to do different things. But with the cam and what we're doing here, all of that processing is built in. So that would give you a cam or a pointer that follows the finger, or like a cursor that follows the finger, and a pinch. The rest of this stuff is just normal ZIM stuff. So there's us making a slider. And when we change that slider, we're going to change the value. So this is normal ZIM. In other words, that just replaced the cursor, and it works on anything in ZIM. Think about that for a second. We've got people out there that are building apps specifically for, for specific things. Oh, okay, here's my fingers, and I'm going to make it do this and that. We're beyond that. Here are your fingers, and it works on anything in ZIM. So that's pretty cool. And the reason why we could do that is we had already done it for texture actives. In texture actives, we took the 3D, what's it called? The ray casting on a 3D planes, and we took that ray casting data and passed it into Create.js, which is what ZIM's built on, but told Create.js to not use the mouse and the pointer, but rather use the raycast data. And we call that remote pointer, I think, or remote pointer. And truthfully, I mean, it was some work for us to do that, but Create.js was built nicely already. It was built quite modularly, so that almost as if it was expecting possibly we could have other data coming in. So they did a good job, yay Create.js. We did have to put some thought in it and go through maybe 5 or 6 different places in Create.js and kind of make the remote pointers work. But Create.js had made it fairly easy to do that in the first place, so that's nice. And we're now reaping those rewards where this was fairly easy for us to do, to replace the mouse with a hand. Now that ML5, and ML5 is built on TensorFlow, which is a Google product, so the heavy lifting is there. We tried to do this previously with ZimCam. Oh, I'm just sitting here on some code, aren't I? As I blah 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 away. We tried. I should be here so you can see me talking. Yeah, there we go. Hi. We tried to do this with previous code, and it was nowhere near as accurate. Oh, I'm on left hand right now. It was slower, so we had to. It was jittery and slow, so that we had to put lots of damping on it to make it even look smooth, and that sort of makes it slower. And you're going to see when we go into the machine learning, you've probably seen this before, it's very popular with P5.js and various other places where you get all of the little dots on your fingers, etc., are showing up, or around your head and where your lips are. And it's amazing. So it's very quick, and it's quick here in Zim as well. So yay, we had done it manually. I don't know how they did it faster than we could do it. Don't you just have to? And we didn't analyze every pixel. We broke it into a grid and analyzed the grid, but somehow they managed to make it faster. So I don't know how. So that's great. Okay, anyway, normal slider, normal label. Here we have the tabs, normal tabs. And what we did with the tabs is we can tell the cam what hand we want to use. So the answers are left, both, and right. You can use both hands if you want. We found the performance is a bit better. It's a bit more stable with just one hand. That's why we set that to the default. But you can do both hands. And I would say it's about 95% as good. So that extra 5% it's a bit more jittery. Things pop from one hand to another a bit more. So anyway, there we are setting the cam's hand to whatever's in our tabs, but those tabs are just working like normal tabs. And then here's our tracking. So we've set up a bunch of labels, and we probably tiled those at some point. Yeah, there they are tiled. And then when the cam's hands move, so we've got 2 events, cam hand move, cam hand off. There's probably a cam hand on as well, but I guess we didn't need that. We're going to call get data, and get data gets the angle. So that's a method that we made to get the angle between the thumb and the forefinger. And there's the getting the distance between the thumb and the forefinger. Once again, ML5 went to all the, it's just wonderful. You can find the points on your fingers, and you always know what that point is, and it follows those points. It tracks those points. But we went and got the distance and the angle. Oh, it's no big deal. Okay, and provide that. And then there we are updating the text of those labels with those distances and angles. Okay, angle left, angle right, angle. Oh yeah, so when you get an angle, you get the angle for the left hand, or angle.left, and you get the angle.right. Okay, and same with distance. So you receive an object that has left and right properties. And we put the cam on the bottom, so that goes then there, and that's it. Yay! How about that? So we've got some style. Oh, this is for our outside, all this stuff around the outside, the ZIM 018 and this information right here. So that's super. Come on in, try it out. The cat's knocking at the back door, so I'm going to end this bubbling. I am Dr. Abstract, and you can see me, and you can see I do laugh when good to see you, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day or night, and come on in, join us at the ZIM forum. So up here, Discord or forum, let us know how it goes, and we will come back with another one a bit later on the ML5 specifically. So have a great day or night. Cheers.